All right, so we have our second Social Change Makers video series. I'm so excited to get started with my friend Willow here.
Hi.
We just came up with a name for your video series. What is it going to be called?
Show your pride.
It's awesome. I love it. And for those of you who are following along, you should check out Willow's Instagram account. It's Alprida. Right? Alpridea. And you can check out her mascot. It's a gender, it's a alpaca.
Alpaca.
Yes. Awesome. Well, we're going to start by interviewing Willow, and then following this episode, Willow's going to take the reins and become the host and interview others. So, yes. So tell us about Willow. Willow, who are you? What do you love? How old are you? What are your superpowers? That seems to be a question that we like to be asking in the Social Change Makers.
I'm Willow, as you might have noticed. No, that's just how people start their sentences to me. I really like art. I particularly like digital right now. I enjoy writing stories. I am 12 years old, and I guess one of my superpowers is creativity, I guess. I really like all of the arts, drawing, writing, theater in particular. Yeah.
I think it's important because as I've got to know you, one thing that you really, really love is Harry Potter.
Yes.
So I think if anybody wants to know anything about Harry Potter, you can ask Willow. Yes, we found that out. There's you and Josh that just really have all the information about Harry Potter. All right, so the Social Change Maker program is all about finding issues that really break our heart. You were in our first program, which was amazing, and you came back for round 2, which I'm so happy about. Tell us about the issue that you've chosen to look at in Social Change Makers 2.0.
I've chosen the lack of representation and education about LGBTQ history and what it means in both the school system and in shows and books and stuff like that.
Right, just in society in general, right? So,
yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Super important topic that is needed to be addressed. So why did you choose it?
I chose it for a few reasons. Some of them are a little odd. One of the reasons I chose it was just because I thought it was a really interesting issue, and I thought I don't know that much about it because I identify as bisexual, but I realized I didn't know that much about the history and I knew some of the problems that go on today, but I didn't have that much information to back it up. So I decided, number one, I wanted to learn more about it. Number two, I wanted to spread awareness about the injustice that the LGBTQ plus community faces. And I also chose it because I really like this program, and I really like finding something that interests you, and this interested me a lot because I know people that are in the LGBTQ community, and I've heard about some of the hate crimes, for example, that happen, and it just made me really sad, so I wanted to at least try to help do something about it.
That's amazing. Amazing. And you are amazing. I know that already. The world is just getting a taste of the amazingness of Willow right here. So you've been doing lots of research. What have you learned in your research? What's something interesting that you found that you didn't know before?
Actually, I learned something that's kind of big, and I'm kind of embarrassed I didn't know it before, actually. I had thought, I went to Pride for the very first time last year, and I thought it was really amazing, really liked it. But I thought it was just celebrating being LGBTQ or allies, and it is that, but it's also in commemoration of the Stonewall riots. And I learned a lot about that, and it had been a series of riots, as the name suggests, after a police raid that began in June 28th of 1969, and it had been against the LGBTQ plus community and also just the general injustices that they had been facing. Another thing that I learned was that being gay used to be considered a sociopathic personality disturbance. And that was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just so crazy to see how we've adapted to, like, things have changed throughout history quite a lot, but one of the things I've noticed is the way some people act like LGBTQ is a whole new thing, but like it's existed throughout history with various levels of acceptance. And the way some people talk about it, like, oh, there's this whole new thing, it's like LGBTQ or whatever. It's like, well, it's always existed. It was just accepted in various ways. And yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I know you've been doing some amazing research, and you're educating all our other social change makers and myself, which is one of the things that I really, really love about this program, is that I'm not an expert in everything, but I have the ability to work with you guys and learn alongside with you. So what is your biggest concern? You know, what do you want people to know about this issue?
One of the things is for people that are coming out. I remember being really, really nervous, and my mom had always been really clear that she was super supportive of us no matter who we were. One of the things is that I want people to know that being LGBTQ is like a good, normal thing, and that people shouldn't have to be afraid to be who they are. I remember even though my parents had been like really pro-LGBTQ, my mom had taken me to Pride and everything, I was still really, really nervous just because I wasn't 100% sure if it was going to be okay. It was, lo and behold, but I want people to know that they're accepted for whoever they are, and if anyone tells them otherwise, they're wrong.
That's awesome. What an amazing statement. So we've been having some conversations, and one of the things that I think bothers you a lot is how this gets discussed in the school system. So what are your thoughts on that topic related to how it's dealt with in school?
One of the things I've discussed with you is that it's not always necessarily how it is talked about, it's how it's not. Because when teachers avoid a topic or don't educate about it, it becomes to kids sort of a taboo topic, like that thing that we don't talk about, or it's something that we don't like to talk about because we don't want to do that. And I remember we hadn't learned that much about it. For example, in health class, where I would have expected it to be more taught, I remember like once, maybe in the 3rd grade, we had been talking about like healthy boundaries in relationships, and they had been like, well, when a girl and a boy are in a relationship, and I remember someone had said, but like, what about a girl and a girl, or what about a boy and a boy? And our teacher was like, well, that happens sometimes, but like not that often. And I don't think that's true. And the way she had said it, she hadn't said anything exactly homophobic, but the tone she had used with it made it kind of sound like it was a bad thing. And I remembered that I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, so you want to see things change, right? So what are your next steps? What are you going to do? You know, part of what we do here is about taking action. So what are your next steps?
I'm going to be interviewing other people in the community on this video series. I'm really excited about that. A little bit nervous as well because I'm not 100% sure how it's going to go. And I'm going to be creating a petition to add more material on LGBTQ community and history and sex ed for the school system.
Awesome. All amazing things. So obviously, if people want to find out more about the petition, they can follow along with this video series. But where can they find you on Instagram to look at some of the art that you're doing? Because that's another thing that you've been doing.
I am Alprida, Alpridea, because the pride alpaca.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's your mascot. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Willow. I am so excited for you to get started in this video series. And I'm so proud of the work that you're doing. And I can't wait to see what happens. So thanks for being on your first episode.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Till next week. Bye.
Goodbye.